right, if you got your Bible, get to Proverbs chapter 18. Proverbs chapter 18. Great to be out here with you guys tonight. And I'm just thankful for our nursery workers, our master helpers, and our youth workers, just for being willing to put up with children. My children are just in the nursery, and hats off to anyone that works in the nursery for dealing with my children. They might be nice, but I know how they actually are. I was probably very similar to that, but just thankful for a church that values the teaching of the next generation, and glad to be a part of it. And I'm glad and honored that you would choose to be here tonight. If you have teenagers back there, I don't know how often you guys hear what's going on back there. I heard a lot of thumping tonight. I take no responsibility for any of that. We haven't put any holes in the wall since the day that we first got in there, so we're doing pretty good on that regard. Just kind of jumping into the message, is there anybody here who kind of is one of those people who, if you see someone looking at you, you automatically assume that, you know, they're actually looking at you, for one, and then two, that they are harboring some type of ill will towards you, right? If I see someone talking across the room and I happen to make, you know, I perceive that I've made eye contact with that person, I assume they're about me. And, you know, obviously the conversation is negative. Is there anybody like that, right? A couple people, nobody wants to admit it, right? We all are like that in some degree or another. I wouldn't say that I'm a person who is on the extreme end of that, but, you know, I kind of have these ideas flick from time to time when I'm just kind of going about on my way. And at the same time, I also believe myself to be one of the friendliest people out there, right? You may disagree with this, but I think that I'm a pretty nice guy, right? I have yet to meet a person who's just open and honest that they're not a nice person. And there are people who will be open and honest that most people don't like them, but everybody thinks that they're nice, right? And I want to kind of go with that subject tonight. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24. Let's go ahead and stand for just a moment. I'm just going to read this one verse tonight. It's from the Bible that we're going to read, and we're going to talk about the Bible promise of friendliness producing friendships. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24, the Bible says, "A man that hath friends himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother." Go ahead and be seated. See, I covered the mic, so didn't blow everybody out. I've heard a lot of messages over the years about being wise in how we choose our friends, and that's a great thing. We should be very careful with who we allow to be close friends with us. I've heard a lot of messages about the dangers of choosing bad friends, but I don't know that I've heard very many messages on this idea of being friendly. Being friendly is something that everyone has the opportunity to be, and I think a lot of us will blame our lack of friendliness on a natural disposition, or we pick and choose who we want to be friendly towards. And the Bible here gives us a promise, and a promise from Scripture is something we should always take note of, right? And the particular promise here is that a person who is friendly, a person who shows himself to be friendly, is a person who has friends. And so when we think of that promise, if you're someone who says, you know what, I don't have very many friends, do you know what will happen if you choose to be friendly? You're going to have friends. Do you know what the other side of that promise is? You could say, if I don't have very many friends, do you know what the problem is? Is you're not very friendly, right? The Bible, this is a universal Bible promise. It applies to all people. Just please excuse my voice. I have a little bit of a cough right now. I'm on the tail end of it. And so if my voice sounds weird to you, which it seems really weird to me, and I know pointing it out is just going to make you look at it with more scrutiny, but I just feel like I had to throw that out there just before we kind of get into the rest of the message. So Anyway, so this Bible promise is a universal promise. Did you know lost people can apply many Bible promises and have that Bible promise come true in their life? And this is a prime example of that, where someone completely lost, someone who's without Christ, can choose to be a friendly person, and you know what? They'll have a lot of friends, right? That's a Bible promise. Nobody wants to be friends with someone who is unkind, someone who's not friendly. Friendliness is not something that is always present even among friends. And this is kind of why I thought this would be a beneficial message to bring to kind of our adult congregation. I did a lesson on friendliness to our teenagers, kind of geared it a little bit differently, but I think that we as adults, we get set in our ways, and we have our group of friends, and unfortunately, a lot of times, there's not even that existent in in what we would call our friendships, right? And I'm not talking about, picking at each other and that kind of thing, but, genuine friendship, there should be friendliness, kindness, and love and affection towards one another in those relationships. The other thing I want to point out, excuse me, the other thing I want to point out is that friendliness, according to this verse, is something that is shown. It is not just something we perceive ourselves to be, right? Like I said at the beginning, we all perceive ourselves to be friendly. You can harbor great feelings for me, but if all you do when you see me is just kind of scowl at me, and if I say hi, you don't ever say anything back, do you think that I'm very friendly? Right? If you came up and talked and were trying to talk to me, and I'm just leaning against the wall, and you say, hey Josh, how you doing? And hey, I could have all the positive feelings in the world towards you, but if that friendliness isn't something that comes out in my behavior towards you, in my demeanor towards you, then I have failed to show friendliness towards you. Man, Brother Chuck, appreciate it. Yeah. Dude, that's really what I should have done, but already reached my daily limit. If I exceed 2 Mountain Dews a day, I'll probably be at 250 pounds by this time next year. Do that, but yeah, so water's great. Appreciate it. So, this is something that is a universal Bible principle to everybody. It's not us. It's something that we have to show. So how can we measure friendliness with one another, right? What does the Bible have to say on this subject? And it actually is something the Bible doesn't really, the term friendly, the term friendliness is something that in my mind to you here with the time that we have today. I hate that awkward pause of taking a drink. Every Sunday morning when he does it, I just kind of like sit there, wait, check my watch, see what time it is, look around, see who's here, see who's not here. That like doing it seems like an eternity. So I feel your pain on that one. But so let's look at measuring how friendly we are, right? Here believes yourself to be friendly. How friendly do you actually think that you measure up to? I have two ways that I want to define friendliness, and I think the action of kindness is the first way that I would like to define friendliness. And so understand that kindness is a big portion of being friendly, but that's not all it takes to be friendly, right? The clerk at the store can be friendly to you, but that's not genuine friendliness, right? Somebody who genuinely cares about you, when they come up and talk to you, right? It's a lot different than talking to someone who's nice at the store, right? You can go through the drive-through at Chick-fil-A and feel like the person you're talking to is the nicest person ever, but they have displayed no friendliness, no interest in you. When we choose to be kind to someone, it is something that we act upon. It's something that we choose to do. And I think a lot of us think that we're friendly simply because we're not mean. Right? Because I am not openly mean and hostile to somebody does not mean that I'm friendly to them. Right? That is often how we will measure ourselves by this standard, and I'll a lot myself. Right? I remember many times growing up to branch out to some other kids that were at our church, and in my head, I was nice to everybody. I didn't talk to 80% of the people, but I was nice to everybody, right? That's a self-imposed definition of friendliness, and that's not what's going to produce friendships in just a perceived notion of friendliness. We have to actually do something about it. Not being mean friendly. It's something that you choose to do. Choosing to be friendly is an action. It's a positive action. Friendliness always starts one-sided. This is part of why this is a frustrating thing for me. If you're trying to make friends, or if you're in a new place, it's difficult often to feel like you have friends, and understand that if you're going to have friends, one person is always going to be the first person to choose to be friendly and kind to the other person. Friendships don't start unless you communicate with each other. Right? One of the things I think is really interesting and really detrimental to our society, and I think that the majority of the people in here are old enough to have really missed the damage in your own life from this, but cell phones have really, really hurt our ability to have genuine friendships and relationships. Right? And you might be one of those people who doesn't really, you're not really tech savvy, or you don't really think it's a big deal, but, I go into Sunday school, and, I have to work really hard just to get a lot of our teenagers to look up from their phone. Right? You don't have any relationship. There's no real relationships that take place on your screen. Amen. Right? And so genuine kindness is something that is going to start one-sided, and we have to choose to be that person more often than not. If you're here tonight, understand, if you want to have friends, you have to show yourself to be friendly. You cannot wait on other people to be friendly to you. Amen. Often, when you are friendly to someone, they will be friendly back to you, though. That's encouraging. Right? That's what that Bible verse promises. It doesn't promise that everyone's friendly back to you. It doesn't promise that everyone's going to be your friend, but if you're friendly, if you show yourself friendly, you will have friends. That's encouraging to me, right? So measuring our friendliness is the action of kindness. And then let's turn over to 2 Peter chapter 1, and I kind of want to break this message down for basically all different areas of your Christian life. I know that this idea of being kind to people is not a new concept, right? It's not something that, no matter whether you have been raised in church or not, you're supposed to be kind to people, right? We all know and think we should be kind to people, but how often do we actually go out of our way to be kind to someone, right? Everybody here, you think you're a kind person. Who have you been kind to tonight? Who at church have you went out of your way to talk to and, ask them about their life? Is there anybody outside your family? Anybody outside of your normal friend circle? Maybe we're not as kind as we think we are. Maybe we're not as friendly as we think we are. And so the action of kindness is an important aspect of our friendliness. It's something we actually have to do. It's not something we think about. But friendliness is also charity from the heart, and charity is a Bible word for unconditional love. Right, 2 Peter chapter 1, and I thought this was really, really interesting as I was kind of studying for this message. Because I don't know about you, but if the Bible can teach me how to be more friendly, I would like to know how to do it. Right? I really think that over the last 10 or 15 years of me working at this, I think that, I've really improved on my ability to be kind and show kindness to others. Right? I think a lot of us, we don't really realize how we come off to people sometimes, how we come across to people. right? And I've done this before too. Somebody will walk right by me. It's like, man, they didn't even say hi. It's like, hey, Jaron didn't say hi to me. I had him as a teenager for 7 years in the youth group, gets out of there for 1 year, and he doesn't even say hi to me anymore. What's up with that? He must not like me. He's not friendly. Forget him. Not praying for him anymore. Not taking it that far, but you get what I mean, right? We've all had these perceived slights from other people where they've not been purposely kind to us or purposely nice to us, purposely friendly to us, and we've done the same thing ourselves many, many times. But 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 7, let's just start in verse 5. It says, beside all this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, to virtue knowledge, to knowledge temperance, to temperance patience, to patience godliness, to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. All right, did you see? A part of us growing in our faith is to add brotherly kindness to our faith. That is treating other people with kindness, right? You see that? That's a part of us growing in our faith. And then on top of that, we add to brotherly kindness charity, unconditional love for others, for God, for others, and that's something that we need to add to our life in order to be as friendly as we should be. Key aspect of our spiritual growth is our ability to grow from brotherly kindness to charity. The growth in the way that we are friendly and kind to others is something that is often overlooked in our Christian lives, right? There's a lot of personality traits about us that we to a corner in our life and in our relationships with others, right? If you're an introverted person, it is very difficult for you to understand that you have to add to your faith brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness, you have to add charity. I'm not saying that we don't try to do that in our own way, but that will manifest itself to others to some degree, or we don't have it there like we think we'd have it. Right? I would say that I'm one of those people that did not have a lot of brotherly kindness towards other people naturally. Right? There was people I was kind to, there's people I loved, there's people I liked. It was very easy for me to be kind to my family and my friends, right? It's easy for everybody to do that, right? But it's not just about being kind to our family and friends. It's about being friendly and kind as Jesus would be friendly and kind to others and have charity towards others, right? That's what we are supposed to be growing towards, and understand that if you are going to grow in your faith, it is going to cause you to be a more friendly and kind and caring person about other people. How many people do you genuinely care about what's going on in their life? Right? And I was kind of challenged with this by someone recently, where I think that I have this tendency where if someone's telling me a story, while they're telling me that story, I am sitting there listening and trying to relate what they're saying to something that has happened to me in an effort to relate to them. And while I'm doing that, I completely ignore what they're saying and often don't even hear what they're saying. Right? It's not intentional unkindness, but when I hijack a conversation and make it about myself, that's selfishness, isn't it? Right? That's not charity. That's caring about myself more than that other person. Right? And that's the huge issue in our friendships today, is that we're selfish and we're not showing this charity that we're supposed to be adding to our faith towards other people. We can and should be kind to every person that we come across. Amen. The love of God that is within us, if you're a saved person, gives us the ability to choose to love people as Jesus loves them. That's a hard thing to do. And we've not even gotten all the way into it yet, but there's a lot of people that you just don't click with. We're supposed to love them and be kind to them. And thus we're and that's what makes us friendly, right? And if we're not being friendly to people, right, there's something wrong with that as Christians, isn't there? Amen. Lost people have the ability to be kind and love others. Let's look at Luke chapter 6. I think this is an important distinction that we need to make because as Christian people, the minimum standard for us is different than what we might think it is. Luke chapter 6, I'm going to start in verse 31. It says, "And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. And if ye do good unto them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners do even the same. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive much again. But love ye your enemies, do good, lend, hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil." That's a little harder than what we want it to be, isn't it? That's Jesus talking. That's not just something that I made up, right? That's not something, hey, if you feel like doing it. No, Jesus told us we're supposed to be kind. We're supposed to love our enemies even. I'll just be honest with you. I have a hard time with that, right? People that disagree with me, I have a hard time loving them, right? There's people that agree with me on most things that often I have a hard time getting along with. Right? And that is the opposite of how we're supposed to be as Christians. Lost people have the capacity and ability to love people like them, to love their family. And we as Christians, we are differentiated from our lost and dying world by our love for one another and our love for those who others do not love. We're told to love and to be kind even to our enemies. I wonder how well we do it even being kind to those in our own household. Genuine kindness. And I understand that, everybody here, you probably love those that, your family, your children, your spouse. But how kind are you to them? Right? I don't know about you, but I like the idea of my wife being my friend also. And so if my wife's going to be my friend, I have to be friendly to her. Right? And I don't know that anybody is really thick enough for to be able to put it past their spouse that you don't really like them. Right? There's a lot of people that I've seen. I wonder why you're married. You're not kind to each other. You don't seem to like each other. Right? I mean, should people see us as Christians with that kind of relationship? I don't think so. Right? And I hate to keep comparing us to lost people, but, lost people can get along with their spouse, and we have a hard time doing that a lot of times. Right? We should, and you might love them, but are you kind to them? Do you speak peaceably unto them? Do you seek to put them first? I think most of the stuff that we've talked about so far is not a new concept to any of us, but what I want to kind of spend some of the rest of our time doing is giving us some practical ways that we can choose to be friendly to other people. And I understand that some of these things might be off-putting to you, or you might feel like it's over the top, but I don't know about you, but I would like to grow in this area of my life. If you're here and you're the most friendly person in the room, I hope that you seek to still become more friendly, more caring towards other people, right? If you're here and you say, I'm not like that. I have a hard time being nice. I have a hard time with people. I have a hard time coming across as nice. This will really help you. This has really helped me. I think that it's something that we can all choose to do. This is something that everybody has the ability to do. And the first thing I want to put forth to you so that will help you grow in your friendliness towards others is to daily ask God to help you to be more friendly and kind to others. Right? That is a earth-shattering idea right there. Ask God to help you to be kind. Right? We looked at Proverbs 18 and then 2 Peter 1. There are two specific verses on that subject where we're told to be friendly and encouraged to grow in our area of friendliness. You know what we should ask? We make it a matter of prayer. Right? If you struggle to say that, hey, I don't have any friends, or I have a hard time connecting with people, ask God to help you to be more friendly every day. If it's really important to you, you'll ask God about it every day. Second thing, and it's another thing we should ask God every single day, is to add brotherly kindness and charity to our faith. Right? If you struggle with your words, if you struggle to be kind, take that to God every single day. If you struggle to love people like you should, take that to God every single day. These aren't difficult concepts to understand, but it does require us to actually take the time to do these things. Right? If you want more friends, you have to show yourself to be friendly. A good way to do that is to ask God to help you. Third thing, and this kind of is where we start to get a little more outside of our private life, is we need to be conscientious of our demeanor towards other people. Right? Your demeanor is how you come across. It's your body language. I don't like this term. It's a very modern term that people say. It's your vibes. Right? It's the energy you put off to other people. Right? And I don't like those two words, but you do. Everybody has this. When you're talking to someone and you don't think they want to, we sometimes think, it's like, this guy doesn't want to talk to me. This person doesn't. I felt that way many times with people who I know care about me. And what it is, and I'm guilty of this just like everybody is, we're not conscientious of our demeanor towards other people sometimes. Right? We're very easily distracted. Right? I think I accidentally did this on Sunday morning. We were having some issues with the audio for our live stream, and I kind of went back pretty quick to fix. No, it was Sunday night, and I think someone said, "Hi, Josh." And I was past them when they said it, and it didn't like register immediately with me that they said, "Hi, Josh." And I think I might have offended somebody by accident because I was distracted and not paying attention to somebody who was looking at me as I was going by. And it's kind of a silly example, but that could really hurt somebody's feelings when we do that type of thing. Right? When somebody comes up and says hi to you, do you bother looking up from your phone? Do you smile when somebody comes up and says hi to you? Do you look them in the eye? Right? That's all part of our demeanor. These are conscious decisions that we can make when we're interacting with another person that will help us to show ourselves friendly to other people. Be conscientious of your demeanor. We often have demeanor, a demeanor that's difficult for others to see our love or interest in them. We often display a demeanor towards other people that make it difficult for others to see us being friendly to them. Right? And I know that, friendships can have different dynamics, but if you claim to be friends with someone and you have not spoken a kind word to them in a long time, if you've not asked them about their life in a long time, eventually that person's going to start to wonder whether you're actually their friend or not. Whether you care about them or not. And these are all things. You could have all of the love for that person in your heart, but if you do nothing with it, if you don't put that love in action and love on display towards another person, you can be perceived in a way that you don't want to be perceived. We need to be conscientious of our demeanor towards other people. The Bible talks about our countenance. It talks about our spirit. These are things that are very, very important, and I hope that you are interested in having a demeanor that shows that you care about others, that you love others, that you are a kind and friendly person. I would hope that if a lost person saw me or interacted with me, they would, though the topic of salvation might not come up in the very first conversation I have with them, I would not like them to walk away from that conversation thinking, that guy's a jerk. Because if I ever do try to talk about the Lord, you know what? They're going to remember thinking that I was a jerk the first time they met me. We need to be conscientious of our demeanor. We need to be conscientious of our actions and inaction. Right? And please don't just shut this message off if you feel like you're an introverted person, or if you feel like you're not a naturally friendly person, or if you are content with the number of friends that you have, because this is something that can really, really help you. I don't know of anybody who would actually say that they would not be benefited by having more close friendships in their life. You might be happy with the number of close friendships you have. You may not be interested in going to the trouble to build any close friendships, but who doesn't love close friends? Man, what would you give for a close friend? Right? Relationships take a long time to build, and you know what? A lot of times we're very careless with the way that we treat other people. We must choose to go out of our way to be kind to others. Right? We're not kind just because we smile. Though smiling is a good start. Many of you need to start with smiling at people sometimes. Really? Right? I hope that when people come to Bible Baptist Church, they don't just see a bunch of scowling people looking around at each other. Right? We should start out with just smiling. Say hi to somebody once in a while. Say hi to somebody you don't normally talk to. Here's an idea. Ask them about their life. Ask them about their family. Ask them about their job. If you don't know what you could talk to somebody about, write down a bunch of questions you could ask them. I know that sounds kind of nerdy and obnoxious, but you know what? If you were the person that is that difficult to connect with, to where people have to sit down and write down questions asked, you would appreciate it when someone talks to you. Right? There have been teenagers that have come into the youth groups. Like, I have nothing in common, and I sit there and ask them weird questions until I find something that I can even talk to them about. Right? And you know, if we can't be a friend to somebody, right, how can we share the gospel with somebody then? Be conscientious of our actions and inaction, right? When you don't do these things, you are not showing yourself to be friendly. So we need to daily take these things to the Lord. We need to be conscientious of our demeanor. We need to be conscientious of our actions and inaction. We need to also set proper expectations for others and give them the benefit of the doubt. Right? All this time, we've talked about things that we should be doing, things we could do. There's a lot of times where we are hurt by others because we have the wrong expectation out of them. No one's perfect in this area. Everybody is busy, distracted, tired, and can inadvertently ignore somebody by accident. Every time that happens, it's not, them being mean to you. Every time it happens, it's not them showing, it's not some passive-aggressive, slight to you. It doesn't do any good when I don't cover the mic when I put my hand up there. Every perceived slight against you should be given the benefit of the doubt, because that's what we want when we do that. Right? I hope if you were the one that said hi to me on Sunday night, you'll forgive me. I meant absolutely nothing by it. You know what? When you're the person that gets ignored, I hope that you won't take it as somebody just blowing you off and think that, there's no friendship there, there's no love there. We need to have the right expectations for others. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5, the chapter of the Bible speaking directly about charity, it says, "Charity doth not behave itself unseemly, it seeketh not her own, it's not easily provoked, and it thinketh no evil." Right? When we have love in our hearts towards somebody, when Jaron over there chooses to ignore me and never talk to me anymore since he's not in the youth group anymore, you know what? I don't because I love him, I don't think anything of it. He's just busy. He's outgrown me, and, that's cool. Right? We cannot think evil of others if we genuinely love them and care about them from our heart. Right? And if all you do is think evil of that person, really there's some issues in that relationship, and you don't love them like you might think that you love them. So be conscientious of our demeanor, our actions, set the proper expectations, give people the benefit of the doubt. We need to understand that close friendships never start that way. A man that hath friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. I love those relationships that, you feel like brothers, right? The friend that sticketh closer than a brother is referring to Jesus, I believe. You know what? When you get saved, he comes in your heart. He's your Savior. But you've got to build a relationship with him. That relationship has started very one-sidedly, right? Right? You brought nothing to that relationship. Right? But Jesus did a lot to show that he loved you and cared about you. Right? We need to understand that close friendships don't start as close friendships, and be interested in that building process of those relationships. You know what? We've got a lot of new people in our church. Unfortunately, I wish I knew everybody's name in here tonight, but I sadly I don't. I wish I could, go around the room and talk about something that I know of about everybody in here, but I can't do that just yet. A lot of folks I can, but there could be people in this room that you have just so much in common with me. Probably, I mean, kind of a weird guy sometimes, but right, you could be missing out on a very close and meaningful friendship with someone who has a lot of things in common with you outside of even just your relationship with God, right? We have to be willing to invest in relationships. Close friendships never start as close friendships. Are you willing to allow somebody into your friend circle? This is something that we talk to the teenagers about, right? If a visitor comes in, you need to ask them to sit with you. Why can't adults do that too? Why does every new person that comes to church have to go through a 6-month process before, I guess they're part of the church now, maybe we'd just be nice to them? Or wait for them to come and talk to you? Right? We're not as friendly as we think we are. Unless you're going out of your way to be friendly to someone, you're not as friendly as you think you are. We need to be content to be friendly to someone even if they don't immediately choose to be a friend back to us. Right? Be that person that takes that first step of being friendly to others. Though that might not be returned immediately, it will be returned more often than not. Because the Bible promises a man that hath friends must show himself friendly. If a person who is friendly will have friends. If you're friendly to someone, you're going to have people who want to be your friend. The promise could not be clearer from Scripture. And so I hope that you are interested in building in these areas of your life. I know there's a lot of things to take in. I know there's a lot of steps that you might be able to take, but I hope that there's at least one of those things that you can walk away from this message saying, you know what, I'm going to try and make sure that I come across as being friendly to other people. I'm going to watch my demeanor a little bit more, or I'm going to make sure that I'm friendly to people as I walk by them, or as I'm on my way back to get the kids from the nursery, or when we're picking up kids from children's church or master club. Maybe you just need to decide to give somebody the benefit of the doubt when it comes to these perceived slights that people, someone ignoring you, or someone not saying hi to you, or somebody having a bad tone when they speak to you. Right? Giving the benefit of the doubt is great. The most important thing, and I'm not sure where everybody is with this, but Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24, man that hath friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. Jesus Christ is that friend, and I hope that he's in your life. And if he's not in your life, he wants to be. He's waiting there to come into your life. But a friendship, being friendly can be one-sided. A friendship is two people being friends with one another. You have to receive him into your life in order for him to be that friend that's taken closer than a brother. And so I'll turn it over to Pastor, and we'll be dismissed.